Welcome back into Rounding Third Baseball, episode 301. I'm Nick. We have Harrison, and we have a special guest tonight, 9-year MLB veteran Skeeter Barnes. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
We're doing fine.
Fantastic.
Doing fine, Nick.
Awesome. I can't wait for this to dive in. Skeeter and I have been talking for the last 20 minutes, and this is going to be awesome. So strap in. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsors, Logitech, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on the tops of all of our socials. So if you do any shopping for these products, please use our links as we get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. Just a great way to support the show. We also have our Rounding Third merch on Etsy. You can jump on Etsy, Rounding Third Baseball. You can find sweatshirts, t-shirts, tumblers, whole bunch of stuff. Great way to support the show. And on Patreon, we are streaming there tonight. Another great way to support us, a small little community over there. So check us out over on Patreon. All right. And like I said, we're welcoming our guest, Skeeter Barnes, 9 years in the MLB. Welcome to the show, Skeeter. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine, Nick and Harrison. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, man. We were pumped when we found out we kind of had a mutual connection here. So pretty awesome. So let's start right at the beginning. You're born and raised in Cincinnati. You go to the University of Cincinnati and get drafted by the Reds. Kind of walk us through that whole thing, being born, raised in Cincinnati.
Well, like was telling you earlier, I grew up a big Cincinnati Reds fan, and I had uh, I had played basketball my first year of college at a school called Cincinnati State, and in high school, me and Leon Durham played together. Well, he came out. I went to college my first year. He got drafted by the Cardinals, and I'm thinking, man, you know, I was a good player. I think I can do this, and baseball's always been my big love. And I enrolled in Cincinnati UC, no scholarship or nothing. Was walking by the campus in the fall and saw a lot of the players that I'd played against in high school. And I'm like, man, I'm going to see what I can do to get a tryout. And got in touch with Glenn Sample, came out, walked on, and made the team. And the rest is pretty much history. And got some scholarship money the next year. And uh, I was already eligible for the draft because I played, went to college for 3 years and got drafted. And, you know, like I say, me and Leon played in high school. And I'm thinking, man, and, I was a good player too in high school. So let's give it a go.
That's incredible. Just walked right on and then got drafted. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Just walked right
Um,
on, and the rest is history.
that's crazy. So a lot of time in the minor leagues. When did you like really think you had a shot at the show?
It was probably after my second year AAA. I've always had the notion, any league I played in, I always, try to stand out. And when you stand out and you gauge yourself against other players and get an opportunity, you think maybe you got a chance. But a lot has to fall in place. You have to hit. You have to hit. If you don't hit, you have no chance. And I put up some really good numbers in AAA. And the thing is, the year that I got called up, I started the season in AAA in Indianapolis, and I was a utility guy because whenever I played with Nick Asaski, he could only play third, so I had to move around and play other positions. And the funny thing, Nick got called up at the halfway point, and then I went in and played third, and then I got called up at the end of the season. So, uh, but I was always getting 400 to 450 at bats a year in the
Yeah.
minor leagues. That's one thing I'm glad it happens that it's tough to get better when you don't play in the minor leagues. I had no problem playing in the minor leagues. I played every day in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you were coming to the minors, Skeeter, what was kind of the big messaging in the minors? What were they hitting on? Was it contact? Was it power? Was it speed? Like at that time, what was the thing they were really focused on?
Well, the thing is, when I played with guys like Gary Reedus and Eric Davis, I mean, they always had power. And I was a line drive hitter. We were all line drive hitters, but they had a little bit more power than me. And I never tried to hit home runs. I just tried to hit the ball hard. And, after you play 3 or 4 years, you realize that, maybe if I hit home runs, that'll change things. And one of the coaches I had, Joe Sparks, who I love to death, we got to, my first year in Toledo. He said, you've had some real good years in AAA, but we're going to try something different to see if we can get you to stick up there in the big leagues. So I start the season in Toledo, and we're working on some new things where I have a little bit more of a stride because I kind of hit spread out, and you know. I mean, I was struggling my butt off, man. After about 2 months, I'm hitting 220, but I was leading the league in stolen bases. And I was thinking about going in Joe's office and say, look, I know I'm an older guy. If you want to play a younger guy, you know, I understand. He said, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, keep working. And when I left there, it was 2 weeks before the big league all-star game. I think I had 9 or 10 home runs, uh, ton of RBIs, leading the league in stolen bases and everything. It just all seemed to come together. And a lot of that was because Joe Sparks, tinkered with my swing a little bit and helped me with a little more power.
That's awesome. Do you remember who your first big league hit was off from? I'm sure you remember.
Oh yeah, it was off of Greg Booker. It was off. No, 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 no. It was off of my first home run was off of Greg Booker. My first hit was off of God, a left-hander from the Padres. Man, I can't remember his name, but yeah, my first homer was off of Greg Booker though.
That's
You
awesome.
know, I think all my first were against the Padres.
That's all right.
Oh, take them wherever you can get them.
Oh man, I don't know why I can't remember that.
It's all right. We got a question from the chat that says, how true is the saying that it's hard to make the big leagues, but harder to stay?
Oh, I think it's very true because it's a different speed. It's a different speed of the game. Defenses are better. Players are better. Players are playing to stay there, and it's just a different speed that you have to. It's a whole different speed from AAA, and in AAA, 2-0, 3-1, 3-2, you're more likely to get a fastball. At the big league level, you could get anything. And I think that's the difference with hitting, is that at the big league level, you can get any pitch at any time.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because, like I said, we had Steve Traxel on a couple months ago, and he said the same exact thing as you, almost word for word, Skeeter, was speed. He's like, the speed kind of shocked him when he got to the level. He was like, in the minors, I would have outfielders that would get to some balls, but he's like, in the MLB, all my outfielders are getting to everything. It's like, it's crazy.
Well, like I said, they're looking to stay there, so they're learning how to, they're looking for any advantage. They're getting good jumps. They're looking at how to spray charts better, how to, where guys like to hit the ball, and there's just, they watch the game. I mean, you see a lot of shenanigans going on in minor leagues. Guys are fooling around, grab ass and stuff like that. But at a big league game, those guys are watching the game. They're trying to look for any little edge they can get. They're watching to see what the other players doing. They're watching to see who the good players are, which guys are hot, which guys aren't. I mean, there's a lot to go into preparing for a big league game.
Yeah. Somebody in the comments said your first hit was the homer.
No. My first home run was off of Greg Booker at home, but my first hit was off, I want to say Rasmussen, maybe. Uh,
Okay.
and in San Diego.
Okay. Nice. Man. So you played a lot of time with the Nashville Sounds, right? Is that where you had your success in the minors, was with the Nashville Sounds?
I had a good year in Toledo, but I had a good year in Waterbury, Connecticut, which is AA. But see, the thing about Nashville, my first year in Nashville, it was AA. And then when I came back a couple years later, it was AAA. So I think I got maybe 2.5 to 3 years of AAA in Nashville. Which
Okay.
was a great place to play. I mean, Larry Smittle, who ran everything there. I mean, he was way ahead of his time as far as putting people in the seats and running the AAA team. He did a great job. Did a good
Yeah.
job.
So so what I hear is there's two numbers retired there with the Nashville Sounds,
I
Don
think it's
Mattingly,
three.
and it's three now.
Yeah, I think it's me, Don Mattingly, and who's the guy that used to manage the Yankees? Man, man, I can't think of his name either. Boy, age is catching up to me. Uh, Name
No
some
worries.
managers that used to be with the Yankees.
Uh,
Tori.
No, 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 no,
uh, Stump Merrill. That's a main
no,
product.
no, no,
Definitely not
no,
him.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
Oh, I can't.
it's it looks like it's Skeeter Barnes, Don Mattingly, and Tim Dillard.
No, 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 no. This guy was a good manager. Good
Girardi.
man. No, 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 no. Oh, I can't think of his name. God,
You.
I'm losing my
It's all
mind.
good.
That's all right.
Uh,
It's definitely not Aaron Boone, right?
no, 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 no.
Okay,
This,
thank you.
no, no.
You got
This
Showalter. You got
Showalter, Buck. That's who
okay,
it was. That's who it
okay,
was. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So, like one of those years, the numbers are from Double A, so it's a little misconception, but they add them all together, and lo and behold, I made it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, so I do want to bring up one thing in your career. I was like Googling some highlights of your career. And July 21st, 1992. Does that date stick in your head?
Was that the day I charged the mound?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, my wife saw that game. She said I looked like a damn fool on TV doing that.
So
But
was there
Nick, the thing was, early in the game we had a 1 run lead. It was 2-1, I think. There was a man on third and I was hitting, and Randy Johnson was pitching, and I bunted for a base hit, scored a run, and he's just going off on me. I mean, once the inning was over, I go to third base and he's over in the dugout and he's just jaw jacking and this and that. I guess he didn't think anybody's supposed to bunt on him. Well, anyway, Russ Nixon was the third base coach, and I said, Russ, you tell Randy Johnson that I waited too long to get up here, and I ain't scared. Okay. So anyway, the game goes on, and I know he had that kid came in. I think it was in the seventh inning to
Mhm.
pitch relief, and I know he had that kid hit me. And I've always told myself, if I know somebody's throwing at me intentionally, I ain't wasted no time.
Yeah.
So I went out there and slapped him with my purse a little bit, and you know, and but I just the fact that somebody's throwing at you,
Yeah.
and Randy Johnson, they talk about how good a guy he is. He's uh, not a
All
big
right.
fan, not a big
Okay.
fan,
Fair
not a big
enough.
fan.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
it was watching that clip. It wasn't the pitcher that was hot, but Dave Valley was steaming the
Yeah,
catcher.
I think somebody put some fists on him a little bit. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. Somebody probably popped him while he was down on the ground or something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
man.
At one point, he was
So,
pushing his manager and almost threw a punch at him. It was the whole
yeah.
thing was crazy.
So
When I look back, it wasn't a very smart thing to do, but you just don't throw at anybody. And I've always told myself, I'm not gonna fool around if I know somebody's throwing at me intentionally, and I felt he was.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, and that's fair. I mean, I would feel the same way, especially with how hard these guys can throw now. I mean, it's dangerous to throw at somebody intentionally. So
Yeah, well,
there's
I think Kerry Woodson, I think he hit me with like a 86-mile-an-hour fastball, so it didn't hurt too bad.
Well, speaking of getting hit, you are still the only player in baseball history to get hit twice in your debut, right?
Yeah, I think Atlee Hammaker, I had faced Atlee in the minor league, so I knew him a little bit, and I always crowded the plate against him, so I wanted to take away his changeup because that's all he threw me in the minor leagues when he'd get me out. So I said, there's no way I'm sending him a crowd the plate and make him throw me fastballs in and try to turn on something. And he hit me my first two times up. So
nice. It was Mark Thurman Your first hit, does
Mark
that ring a bell?
Thurman. Mark Thurman was my first hit.
There it is. Thank you,
I don't know.
Michael, for
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Michael
I don't
found it.
know.
One of our
Man,
resident historians went and found it for you.
man. How could I not remember that?
It's all good. I
Yeah.
We
don't
got a
remember what I had for dinner, so I'm
we've got an interesting comment in the chat, Skeeter. So from one of the people in our audience, Skeeter, I was close friends with Wendell Kim until he passed in 2015. I understand you coached with him on the Indianapolis Indians in 2001. Do you have any fond memories of your time with Wendell?
No, no, not at all. It started out good. Our team started out good, and may he rest in peace. I mean, he was a likable person, but he just lost control of the team, and we were losing so bad. We come to the park early, and he's in the other team's clubhouse putting on magic tricks for him, and I'm thinking, man, we're getting our brains beat out.
Mm,
And he was a nice guy, but I didn't. No, I just did my job, and didn't have a lot to do with Wendell. You know,
gotcha.
so
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
As Red Sox fans, there's mixed memories of of Wendell Kim for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing about it, I was looking forward because I know he had about 10 years in the big leagues as a coach,
Yep.
and I'm thinking, man, I can learn some things from this guy. Didn't happen. It didn't
Yeah.
happen.
What was it like having an MLB manager icon, I guess, and Sparky Anderson as the leader of your clubhouse?
You knew who was in charge. You knew who was in charge.
I'm
And
sure.
I've been fortunate enough to play for Whitey Herzog. Again, you knew who was in charge. You
Yep.
knew who was in charge. And like I say, I mean, I really love Whitey, but Sparky, man, man, Sparky was a godsend to my career because he did something no other managers did, which was play me.
Mhm.
I go from hitting third in Toledo. Well, normally what would happen was when I would get called up from AAA, I'd come sit around, pinch hit, maybe get a start here or there, but mostly pinch hit and pitch run, you know. And then when I left Toledo, I went from hitting third to I think hitting fourth or fifth in Seattle when I joined the team in Seattle, you know. And that's never happened before. So here I am hitting 336 with 9 home runs, and I go right into playing every day with Detroit, and
Mhm.
that has never happened. First night in Seattle, I hit a home run. Third night in Seattle, I hit another home run, and it just Sparky was a godsend for me. I can never say enough good things about Sparky and Whitey. You know,
That's incredible. Yeah,
Is it
just guys that just demand the clubhouse as soon as they walk in.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
when he passed away, I mean, it really hit me, really hit me.
Yeah.
did you find it was easier to play for managers that had control of the clubhouse, or did you almost feel like you had to bring your best because you knew they were going to expect a lot out of you?
Um, Sparky knew that I came from the Reds, and he knew that I was groomed well in their system by Jimmy Hoff, George Sherger. I think George Sherger was one of his coaches for a long time, and like I say, I'm fighting to stay there, and I didn't know how long I was going to be there because I started out swinging the bat really good, but you never know because Lloyd Mosby was coming off the DL and somebody had to go, and I'm thinking it'll probably be me, but when you're hitting 330 or 340, you don't think it's going to be you, but just percentages and the way things had been for me, I just thought maybe I'd get sent back down, but no, he kept me. He kept me there. And I don't know what happened, but um, he really took care of me. He always played me. I always knew I was going to start against left-handed pitching, and every now and then he throw you a curveball, and you start off of Dave Stewart or David Cone, and I had no problem because I faced right-handers all the time in the minor leagues. But man, it was just he was fun to work with and fun to play for. But you knew who was in charge when when you stepped in that clubhouse. And there was a bunch of great guys there: Tony Phillips, Cecil, Rob
Mm,
Deere, Mickey Tettleton, Mosby, Travis Fryman, Whitaker. I mean, those guys were great. And I came up with Cincinnati, but I felt like I was part of a team with Detroit. Like I say, I grew up in Cincinnati, played for the Reds, and I never felt like I was a part of the Reds. But with Detroit, man, they took me right in. Dave Bergman, all those guys were great, fantastic,
yeah.
fantastic.
Well, to bring back when you charged your mound, I mean, your team was almost at the mound right as soon as you got there too. Like, I mean, you can tell like when you have a close knit group like that, when something like that's going down and your team almost beats you to the spot. So, I mean, you could tell the camaraderie just from that incident. If there's a silver
Yeah,
lining that comes out of that,
and it was like I say, it was a good group of guys. They passed the
yeah.
hat and paid my fine. You know,
Oh, that's
I mean,
awesome.
they were, like I say, I couldn't say enough good things for that team, about that team.
That's
Well,
really cool.
and to go back to your time in Cincinnati, you were coming up in Cincinnati at the same time as kind of Pete Rose was winding down, and that whole era was transitioning away from the days of the Big Red Machine, and then everything was transitioning out. What was that like in Cincinnati at the time, having had all that success? Transitioning all those players out, Pete Rose kind of slowly fading away. What was that time in Cincinnati like?
Well, the tough part about it was when it's late July and you're 20 games out, you expect at some point for them to give the young guys a chance. And like I say, I mean, my first year was Johnny Bench's last year. Concepcion was there. I mean, I still had a chance to see some really good players, but you know, you just expected to get an opportunity because we had so many young guys, and it just never happened. It never happened, and I know you can't afford to lose every game because you got to have fans coming out. I remember we're starting a game in Houston. Me, Tom Foley, Lawless, Gary Reedus, a lot of the young guys, Nick, and Pastore comes in and sees the lineup card and says, "Who am I pitching for? Indianapolis today?" And he ended up getting a win, and uh, but I mean, just stuff like that you had to deal with and suck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a veteran team that wasn't really open to the changing of the guard.
Yeah, yeah, and Frank hadn't did a whole lot in his career, to tell you the truth. May he rest in peace, but he hadn't done a whole lot. I mean, he's just a big prospect that didn't fan out. You know, I mean, it would have been nice. You know, I mean, they had the big red machine. By the time I got there, they were a little horseshit machine. You know, there were some lean
Yeah.
years there, but I've always
Yeah.
been a Cincinnati Reds fan.
Yeah.
Always.
That's awesome. Got a question. Anybody that you've played with hit balls any farther than Cecil Fielder?
Uh, Not that I played with, but having seen Josh Hamilton with the Rays when he,
Cool.
he could hit them a long ways too. You
Yeah.
know, I've never seen a guy. I remember when he was with us, I was coaching in Orlando, and he was out for early hitting before he got activated. And Steve Henderson had him hitting balls off the tee. I've never seen a guy hit a ball off the tee straight away center field out of the out of the stadium. And Josh was, but Seth was special too, man. Not only was Seth a home run hitter, he was a good hitter. He hit the ball to all fields.
Yeah.
He wasn't just your typical power hitter. You know, he hit the ball all over. If it called for a single, he'd hit a single. I mean, he was like that. And Rob Deere could hit him as far as anybody too. You
Mhm.
know, he could hit him as far as anybody too. And just
Yeah.
think, with that dimensions in Tiger Stadium, I mean, if you hit in that third group like the peons did, there was no balls left. You know, there was no
Yeah.
balls left because
Yeah.
the first two groups hit them all out. I'm talking about Pete Incaviglia, Mosby, Whitaker, Trammell, Rob Deere, Tettleton, you know,
Yeah, any balls that survive were egg shaped.
but man, like I say, the utility guys hitting the third group, it was, man, you hitting balls all dark and we want no pearl, with no pearls, that's for sure.
Yeah, you hit it. You got to go get it because that's the only one we got left.
You know,
Man. All right. So what was your favorite ballpark to play in? Like on the road, could be minors, could be majors. Where was your favorite place to play?
uh, I'd have to say Toronto was one of them, and San Diego on a sunny day, you cannot beat it. You can't beat it
Yeah.
on a sunny day. Beautiful. But
Awesome.
any place was better as long as it wasn't AAA.
Yeah. Fair.
Anywhere but the minor leagues, you know.
Yeah.
And you see some of the minor league parks that these guys play in now. God Almighty, you know. I mean, I was playing in the old War Memorial Stadium where OJ ran all those yards. That place was a graveyard,
Yeah.
you know.
Just dug up.
And Waterbury, Connecticut. I mean, man, a track ran through the field. You know, it was book.
Yeah.
The stadiums today are nice. They're
Yeah.
nice.
Yep. They definitely are for sure.
That's
Um,
wild.
I had another question in here. Who do you think the best player of all time that you played with, that you saw personally, was on your team that you played with? Who would you say was like the best all around player?
Let me give you a little scenario how now my first couple years I'd have to say Gary Reedus, and then Gary had some injuries, and then Eric Davis was. It's a shame he got hurt because I
Yeah.
mean you know a lot of people, and I grew up in the same community with Barry Larkin, and I know he's a Hall of Famer, but Eric made that team go. Eric could do anything he wanted. And in '84, we started out in Wichita, and this is basically how it would go. Eric would get on, steal first base. Tommy Runnels would bunt him over. I hit a horseshit ground ball, get an RBI.
Yep.
Eric was special, man. I mean, special,
Yeah.
special. You
That's
know,
yeah, we talk about him a lot, about one of the like kind of the biggest what ifs in the MLB, because that we can see how
and
much talent he had and just injuries just caught up to him. But
and I've never seen a guy steal third base from a standstill, but I've seen Eric do it. You know, most
yeah,
guys got to get like a little walking lead before they take off. Not Eric. I mean, he get out there, get his lead, and boom, be gone.
yeah,
You
Yeah,
know,
he was different. He was different.
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's credible.
Yeah.
So oh, you got one?
Yeah, I do. So, I got to ask Skeeter because, according to what I've seen, you told the St. Louis Post Dispatch at one point that you have no idea where Skeeter came from. Is there
No,
a
no,
story to where Skeeter came from?
yeah. My mom gave it to me at birth. And it just kind of stuck. And to tell you the truth, it's pretty much all I've ever been called. Growing up, uh, my real name is William Henry Barnes the Third, uh, and but a lot of people don't know what my real name is. I've
Mhm.
always been called Skeeter, but my mom stuck it on me as a newborn, and it just kind of stayed with me. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, when I got drafted, I had people calling the house because they didn't know if that was me or not. You know, so
That's funny.
they didn't.
So
That's
that's funny.
that's great.
So
Because
so oh, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say to build on the St. Louis thing. So you had a really interesting stint in St. Louis. What what was that like? You get up there, you hit a big home run, um, and then that was it. What happened in St. Louis?
Well, there just wasn't in spring training, Whitey called me in his office. It was like the last 2 days of spring training. He said, "Hey, you're a better player than we ever saw with Cincinnati because all you did was pinch run and pinch hit and didn't play a whole lot." He said, "But I tell you, if we get to a point where we need a right-handed hitter off the bench, you'll be the first guy that we call up." And you know how you say, "Yeah, I've heard that before." But sure enough, Tito Landry went down, and I got called up. And I think I was there for maybe a little more than 2 months, which was great because I roomed me and Vince Coleman and knew each other from the minor leagues. So he just let me stay with him, another hard worker. And I think in St. Louis, not in St. Louis, was it? I think it was San Diego. I hit a 3-run home run, went
Yep.
1 for 4. But that was another team that really took me in. Jack Clark, Ozzie, Willie McGee. I mean, just a good group of guys. Good
Yeah,
group of guys. I couldn't say enough for those two teams, uh, the Cardinals and Detroit. They really accepted me and took me in and everything, made me feel at home.
that's awesome.
Right.
That's great.
So speaking of Skeeters, we were talking before we came on that you did get to play in Maine for a little bit when the Old Orchard Gulls were a minor league team. You said you were out in the outfield and pretty much got attacked by mosquitoes.
Well, I guess it was some kind of water system that ran behind the outfield, and I was playing right field. And after the first day, I had to come in, and I told Pete McCann, I said, Pete, you know, I'll DH the next 3 days, but I'm not going back out in that outfield because those mosquitoes they're killing me. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
You know,
If you've ever been to Maine in the spring and early
Yep.
summer, man, it is something
God,
else up there.
you
Yeah.
know,
I literally live about 15 minutes from where that ballpark is, so I know it well. And
wow,
this little stream that is just all
man.
the mosquitoes come from, and they are
Mhm.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's bad.
But we did eat some good lobster though.
Yeah.
Oh
Good
yeah.
food.
Yeah,
Good
no
food up there.
shortage of that.
You know.
All right. All right. We usually ask this question too is who was the one pitcher that you saw really well? You always hit off. Like you see this guy and you're like, all right, here we go. Here's a 3 for 4 day.
Uh, you know what? I'm not gonna say I owned him, but I'm about 6 for 15 off of Randy Johnson, or I think I'm hitting over 333 against him.
You
You
right
know,
on the nose, Skeeter. 5 for 15,
you know,
333.
and I faced him in the minor leagues, and I'm not gonna say he didn't strike me out because he struck me out before, but I knew that you were gonna get a fastball. And like I say, I lived off the fastball and tried to stay away from the breaking balls until I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Wow.
hit it right on the net. You were
You
5 for
know,
15 against him.
you
333.
know,
Yep.
but I don't think I faced anybody enough to be. When I faced Roger Clemens, I was hitting like seventh or eighth, and I know he said, "Nah, never heard of this guy. I just pump fastballs in there and you know doubled off the wall for him." So
Yep.
but like I
I
say, it
have
got a fastball.
yep. There's another guy you hit pretty well, Jimmy Key. You were 5 for 17 off him.
Yeah, and I think I remember hitting a home run off of him in Detroit. Just I don't know if it's because I saw the ball well or not. It's just that you when you are a utility player and you get a chance to play, you drink 4 or 5 cups of black coffee and take a couple of Excedrin and you're ready to go. You
Yep.
know.
That's incredible.
So Skeeter, your final season was in '94, and of course we all know what happened in '94. What was the atmosphere like in baseball during that '94 season with all the stuff going on behind the scenes?
Well, that was at the strike year or whatever, something like that. Well,
Yeah.
Yep,
I tell you
strike
what
year.
happened. I didn't make the team in out of spring training because the new general manager, Joe Klein, was it Joe Klein? I think I can't remember. Anyway, they got Junior. Oh man, I can't remember Junior's name. From Toronto, played for Toronto, switch hitter, Junior, Venezuelan kid.
Spivey?
Uh, no, 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 no. I can't remember Junior's name, but anyway, he was a better player than me. But the thing about it was he was a moody player, and he messed up you know the the cohesiveness of the team. He was always one of those guys that was kind of to himself, and he really messed up the chemistry of the team. And in spring training, Kirk, Kirk and Tram came up to me and they said, "Hey, there's nothing you could have did, man. You did everything you could do." Because I knew as a player, I knew the minute I have a bad year, it was going to be a no-brainer. I was going to be out of baseball. But I never had a bad year, you
Yeah.
know. But Klein came in, thought he could make things better. And like I say, Junior was a better player, but the chemistry wasn't there. He was moody as could
Yeah,
be.
Junior
And
Felix.
Junior Felix, yeah, yeah. And like I say, it just so I ended up getting called back up. I think I hit a 3-run home run off of Charles Nagy. Was might have been my last hit, you know, might have been my last hit, you know. So uh, it just happens, you know. And plus, you know, I had age working against me. I think I was 36, you know, but I stayed in shape because I knew the minute I was out of shape or had a bad year, it was going to be good riddance, you
Yeah.
know.
We have a pretty cool comment in the chat for here for you, Skeeter. Saw you hit 2 home runs for Denver in AAA at Iowa and Des Moines. You were playing left field, and a couple of friends and I were cheering you on from left field foul line. After the game, you stopped an interview with the newspaper and came over to talk with us and sign some autographs. Class act. Never forgot that, and always a fan. So pretty cool.
Well, you know, I always try. What I try to do, Nick, I always try to, you know, sign autographs every chance you get because, like you say, I mean, I don't think the players realize it that without the fans, they wouldn't be making the money they're making.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing my parents always instilled in me was treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, if you treat me like a butt, I can treat you like a butt. But I don't think I've had too many instances where I've had to raise my voice or get upset with anybody. I mean, I try to treat people the same way I want treated. And I'm taking ground balls at Yankee Stadium, and this kid asked me to throw him a ball, and I say, wait till I'm through with my work. And then he calls me a cheap bastard. And I went over there and in front of his dad, I said, if your dad wasn't here, I would whip the crap out of you, you know. But I,
Yeah.
I, I just don't get too upset about anything. Even today, even I don't let too much bother me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yikes. We've got a big time Tigers fan in the chat who's made the comment of Joseph Klein sank the franchise for a decade. Um, another fan. I remember when the Tigers traded for Junior Felix. Thought it was a terrible trade. Attitude matters.
Yeah, he had Junior was a like I say, he was had really good player, but he had a bad attitude. And I mean, like I say, Jerry Walker, who was the general manager, loved me. And when he left, Joe Klein came in and, you know, had to get rid of that 36-year-old guy. And I happened to be him.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's change to like the coaching. You did a little bit of coaching here for the Tampa Bay Rays and also the Tigers for a little bit. So explain kind of what your roles were with them.
Well, I think the first year I was a hitting coach, and I think Grand Rapids uh, and Bruce Fields was the manager, and we had a great time. Had some good teams. I think we won a championship one year, and then I managed one year in Lakeland, and they knew that I wanted to be an outfield base running coordinator, and so I kind of took that, you know, until it came along, and it never happened, and I ended up getting fired from there. And then Tom Foley, who I played with in the minor leagues, uh, he was like the head of player development with Tampa Bay. Him and Jimmy Hoff, who was my very first manager in rookie ball, tried to get me over there, but it just wasn't the timing wasn't right. So when I got released from Detroit, I went over there, and again, I was a hitting coach my first couple years, and I think I managed one year, but they knew that I wanted to be an outfield base running guy. And then when the job opened up, Mitch Lukovics offered me the job, and I did that for about 13 years, I think. And then we changed head of player development, and the guy fired me, but he offered me a job in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And since I was 3 hours from home and not ready to retire, I took it and retired from coaching in 23. But I had a great time. I don't think I've been in baseball maybe 45 years, but it never seemed like a job because one, I was always there for the kids, you know, and it would have been, like I say, it would have been great to get a chance to coach in the big leagues, but it never happened. But I was always there for the kids, you know.
Yeah.
And
That's
some of them, I still stay in touch with today. Like the other day, Kevin Kiermaier was on MLB, and we texted each other for a little bit. But I've always stayed in touch with the kids and enjoyed working with the kids.
yeah. I talk about one of a special outfielders. We talk about his defense quite a bit on this show. He is gifted in the outfield.
Unreal.
Well, as the outfield coordinator, what we try to preach to kids is during batting practice, at least play one round of balls off the bat. But Kevin was always different. He would always do 2 rounds. He would always do 2 rounds, and he was a quick study. You could tell him something about a speed turn, and it would only take 1 or 2 times. You never had to tell him again. And I mean, that's how he made his bread and butter. I mean, because he hit a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, his defense, was just off the chart. And you watch him get jumps on. You say there's 123 pitches a game. Kevin never took pitches off. I bet he got jumps on every pitch that was pitched.
Yeah.
Which that's what you look for. And the one thing I tried to change with him, because he fielded ground balls like a lot of the Japanese do, where they take an extra step so they can get more on their throws. Most right-handed outfielders, they field it off their left foot so they can catch, step, crow hop, throw. But he caught it off his back left foot. Which
Mm-hmm.
forces you to take an extra step. But he never had any trouble. So we tried that and tried that. And he said, Skeet, it just doesn't, I don't feel comfortable doing it. So I said, until you have trouble doing it, we'll just keep doing it your way. But little things like getting the ball in quick and hitting the cutoffs and the relay men, he was really good. Really
Well,
good.
he also has a cannon strapped to his right shoulder, so that also helped.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, he made his bread. That was his bread and butter.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah,
was
he
his
was a
bread and
blast to
butter.
watch. So cool.
And
Mhm.
I can say, as a Red Sox fan, it was incredibly frustrating year after year. The Tampa Bay Rays just continued to pump out these young players that were super talented. What was the player development like in the minor league system for the Rays? Because every year there was some new superstar on the field.
Well, Harrison, my opinion is that at the time, we had a ton of coaches and managers with experience, that could teach. And now, what I'm seeing more or less now is you have a lot of guys that couldn't get out of rookie ball or A ball coaching, one because they're cheap, you know. And when I was in the system, we had a ton of guys with experience, guys that played in the big leagues, guys that if something was said wrong, that you would get pushback. And now I think a lot of the coaches today are one, I think they get them for cheap, and they know that they won't give them any pushback because they're glad to have a job, you know. But
Interesting.
I'm just thinking Stevie Henderson, Jamie Nelson, Dick Bosman, Charlie Montoya. We had a ton. Gary Reedus was a coach. Uh, Quentin McCracken. We had a ton of coaches with experience, and you can't beat that. You can't beat that. You know.
No, it makes sense because I mean every single year you just waited to see who the Rays would roll out of the minor
Yeah.
league system that would come
You
up and
know.
play well.
And Dick Bosman and I mean he did a lot for those pitchers. I mean, their pitching has always been strong. And
Yep.
Kyle, the guy there now, Kyle is just picked right up where they left off because their pitching's always been a strong suit.
Yeah.
Always. The one thing they haven't really had is a, a consistent everyday catcher. I mean, they went through some seasons where they had 2 and 3 guys sharing it, and you got one guy that can hit and one guy that can catch and throw. You don't have a guy like a Pudge or a Johnny Bench that you can count on every day. You
Right.
know, so that's the one position where they've struggled a little bit, but. I mean, Mike Compton was over there. I mean, just a ton of coaches that had experience. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. Absolutely.
Is there just a quick question for you, Skeeter? Is there a player in the minor leagues that you really expected to have a big major league career that for some reason just didn't work out?
yeah, Desmond Jennings.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Uh, he went through the minor leagues like a hot knife through butter. You know, he had a season where he was hurt a little bit, and they wanted to send him back to Orlando. Not Orlando, but they wanted to send him back to Lakeland. Not Lakeland. Anyway, it was A League. They wanted to send him back to A League, and everybody left that night after the meetings, and his name was on the list to go back to A ball. So we get back in the morning, and Mitch had put his name in Double A, and he goes up to Double A, and he's the most valuable player of that league. I mean, he went through the league like really fast, and for some reason, he just didn't pan out to be the impact player. I mean, this guy was as athletic as I've ever seen, but he just didn't turn out to be the player that I thought he was going to be. And not only me, but everybody had him picked to be an impact player. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so
I mean, even from a outside fan base looking in, like he was, you know, highly touted. Like we knew he was coming.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man,
Oh.
well, that's incredible. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, Skeeter. This was absolutely incredible. I love listening to everybody's journeys through a dream that you know, all of us have had. You got to live it. And everybody's journey is so unique. And I just really appreciate you taking the time tonight and sharing it with us.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Nick, but I do have to give a shout out to my guy, Jimmy Hoff, who's no longer with us. But I mean, Jimmy Hoff was like a mentor to me, and he was one of the reasons why I wanted to stay in pro ball as a coach because, like I said, I had him my first year, and he was he was the field coordinator with the Rays while I was over there, and he just took care of me, looked out for me, you know, let me know when I did something wrong, and man, I really miss him. But he was a big time mentor for me, big time
Incredible.
mentor.
That's incredible. Yeah, everybody in the chat saying thank you, Skeeter. Thank you for the memories. And really appreciate hearing your stories. This was an absolute blast. Thank you to Jim Davis for putting me on the Skeeter. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we
This
got
was
poker.
awesome.
We got a poker game Wednesday, so I'll see him in Wednesday.
All right. Yeah, he goes like, I'm glad I stayed awake. That's incredible. Again, Skeeter, thank you so much. This was a blast. Take care and really appreciate everything.
I'll try to listen to you guys a little bit.
That would be awesome,
All
man.
right.
We'll
Thanks
be in
for having
touch.
me, Nick, and nice meeting you,
You're welcome.
Harrison.
Yeah,
Take
appreciate it.
care.
Thanks, Skeeter.
All
All
right.
right.
Take
Goodbye.
care. See you. Man, I can never not smile after those interviews. Just they're so cool to listen to everybody's story and how different they are.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, it is, and I said it after the Traxel interview, and I say it every time we talk to these guys. But like, it's amazing to me, like how so many of these guys are just normal guys. They were really
Yeah.
really good at baseball, but they're like normal guys, easy to approach, easy to talk to, love to share their story. You know, taking questions from chat, taking our questions. Like it's really cool that here's a guy that had no reason to, but he gave us some of his time to share his story, and it's just wicked cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just wild, dude. It's a lot. It's just it's a dream all of us had at one point in our life. We had a dream to get there, and he didn't have the easiest journey, and he is one of the nicest dudes I've ever met in my life. Like you can just feel it. Like man, that was absolutely incredible. I love that.
Yeah, and talk about a weird time to be coming up through Cincinnati, like with that aging veteran team that's in the middle of this transition. They suck. And he kind of got stuck in that transition and just kind of worked his way through it. And, thankfully found a home in Detroit finally. But what a story, but also like the resiliency and the grit to stay with it, to come up, get sent down, come up, get sent down, come up, get sent down, get released, find a new gig. Like, I mean, he had nothing but like a battle, and he just stayed in it, and then finally found his place in Detroit, had a few great seasons, and finally got to really play. But it's cool because all these guys come at it differently. Their stories are unique, but it's always fun to hear them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible. Yeah, amazes me how these guys still remember details from 30, 40 years ago. I mean, yeah, like I said during the interviews, I can't remember what I had for dinner. Like, and he's pulling out names left and right, and it's just like it's cool. It's awesome. And thank you, Forrest. We do an excellent job bringing it all out of them too. Let's be real, but I mean, it's fun to talk to them, and I think that comes across too, because like we're like little kids, like just talking to them. But I mean, it's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, and it is amazing to me like how willing they are to share the story. And sadly, I could have asked him 50 more questions.
Yeah,
I would have loved to scratch deeper at the 94 strike season and what the atmosphere was like in the clubhouse, or guys talking about it, how big a distraction was it? Get into the coaching, because those Rays, I mean, he was an instructor with the Rays when they were absolutely at their peak. I mean, he had guys coming through that system that he's working with every day, Kiermaier and Crawford and Desmond Jennings, obviously, as he mentioned, being kind of a surprise, but there was just a steady stream of A-level talent rolling through there. And that outfield, they used to drive us all insane because they were so good. We're all working with him. And
right.
and that team had its best years with all those guys coaching it.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, and I
but
would have loved to have gotten into Montreal. Like, what was it like in Montreal? I know he wasn't there very long, but like, what was it like playing up in Montreal? Because it seems like everybody that we've heard quotes from, or everybody seems to think that Montreal was a great baseball city, but baseball wants you to believe it was a terrible place to have baseball. So it's really confusing how the players perceive it versus the league.
yeah. Wednesday's poker game. I'm gonna harass him for not remembering who he got his first hit off.
Yeah, and so Jim, are you how is Skeeter at poker? Is he a threat, or you just invite him there to take his money?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that was absolutely. I love it. So cool. But yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I think sometimes like we forget. We talk about it like these guys have families. Like these guys are real people. I think sometimes we unrealistically put them on a pedestal. Not, I mean, me included. Like I'm still like a little kid, like just
Oh yeah.
listening to him talk. Like, and you just forget that they are just incredible human beings outside of baseball.
Yep.
But man, like you said, I could have probably listened to him all night. That was awesome.
Yeah. I
Absolutely incredible.
love the stories. Love it.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how we follow this up. I say this after we have every interview. But it's the first time playing in our game. I'll let you know. Sounds good.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into, we got a couple of news things. And then, as you guys have been seeing on the page, I've been releasing Hall of Fame what ifs. So we'll dive into that as well. But we'll start off with this. Zach Gallen re-signs with the Diamondbacks for 1 year, $22 million. So he declined the qualifying offer and then, well, accepted it.
He basically
Sort of.
deferred the qualifying offer and just came back and accepted it later. This is the most roundabout way to get to the same place.
Yep. I mean, but go for the Diamondbacks. They needed a starter. He's coming back. He's comfortable there, and the Diamondbacks are giving him what he's worth. And I don't think any other team, seeing the season he had last year, was willing to pay him $22 million or more.
But it begs the question, like, were there other serious offers out there? Or was that basically just it? Like, I can just go back to Arizona on this 1 year deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Mike says a lot of money for a 1 year deal. I mean,
he's making the same money as Trent Grisham. I mean, that might be a bargain in the grand scheme of things. Who knows?
facts.
But I have to believe. And granted, Gallen did not have a good season last year. No, he had a great end of the season. He was very, very good in August and September. Finally figured it out. But to go back to basically take the qualifying offer, it just makes me scratch my head that there really wasn't anything better out there for him. Or did he really just want to go back to Arizona? Like, was it just comfortable there and he didn't want to go somewhere else?
It could be a combination of both. Just didn't like the deals that were out there, and he knows how to pitch in the desert. I think it's a combination of both. But like people are saying in the chat, the Braves are already starting to get hurt. The Orioles could really use one more arm to solidify that rotation. I don't know what obviously that's why we're talking about it. I don't know. I would have thought that those teams would have checked in on them, and maybe they did, and it was just too rich for their blood. Which is fine. It's their prerogative, but
sure.
I mean, it is what it is.
John Carter, Trent Grisham catching more strays.
I mean,
I'm sorry. He's going to catch them all year.
Yeah,
it's just going to happen.
But yeah, agree.
Yeah, I scratch my head. I mean, it makes sense. Go back to what you know. But I would have thought there'd be more interest in him than that.
And Mike, yes, one of those two is probably signing Giolito, right? I would imagine that the Braves or the Orioles, with the Schwellenbach injury, maybe he's back for opening day, maybe not. I don't know. Does Giolito sign with one of those guys? A Miles Mikolas deal, 1 for $2.25.
Yeah, I mean, the last rumor I heard for Giolito was that the Braves were, this was yesterday, the Braves were very much in conversations with him. I've not seen anything, though, about, like, the arm. Like, where is he in terms of that elbow thing that shut him down? Is he healthy? I have no idea.
Well, I don't know either. We'll see. All right. Luis Rengifo to the Brewers. Now, this isn't necessarily a big bang, if you will, in the offseason, but with the trade involving David Hamilton and Caleb Durbin, who plays third and who is the utility player?
Yeah. When this one went down, you and I are both scratching our heads what they're going to do here. This is a funny one because Rengifo is one of those guys who's always had talent, but he's consistently underperformed it. And Hamilton's one of those guys who's a very competent professional, but he's never gotten full-time duties. And I think Rengifo is the guy you want to have work out because he's got the higher ceiling. But if he's hitting 238 with an on-base percentage of sub 300 again, you may have to turn to Hamilton. So I think Rengifo is the guy they want to have succeed, but I think you keep Hamilton as insurance or as a utility guy or whatever, because inevitably somebody gets hurt, somebody underperforms, something's going to happen. But man, Rengifo does not fit what the Brewers do at all.
No, and it was a weird one for me because he's not necessarily a full-time third baseman, right? I think he played a lot of second for the Angels last year. So can he play third? Yes. I mean, same with Hamilton. Can he play? Maybe. But you got two guys that are kind of going over there battling for a primary spot. But who wins out?
Yeah, and
is it Rengifo's position to have?
I think if you're the Brewers, you want him to succeed. I mean, Rengifo has been a 50-50 third baseman, second baseman for the Angels the last 3 seasons or 2.5 seasons. I don't think either one of them profiles as a great third baseman. I think they're both options that could be good. Rengifo has certainly shown he can play there. David Hamilton hasn't played there very much. But again, I think Rengifo is the guy that you want to succeed. But Rengifo is not a high contact guy. He's a very low OBP guy. He's a lot of strikeout. He's exactly the opposite of what the Brewers do. Then you got Hamilton, who is a higher contact guy, speed guy. Not a lot of pop, not a lot to his game, but a professional hitter who can handle a bat. Neither one of them is a very good fit for what the Brewers need, and I think they're just hoping one of them works.
Yep.
But I don't think either one of them is that's the guy.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. He's played more third base for the Angels than Rendon. You're not wrong.
There's probably 20 guys walking around baseball right now that are walking around baseball the last few years that have played more third base for the Angels than Rendon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a weird one for me.
Yeah. All right. German Marquez signs with the Padres. Are the Padres going to make the playoffs? Simple question, Harrison.
No. I don't think that's a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think they're third in their division. I think it's probably San Francisco overtaking them, and then the Padres. I mean, the Diamondbacks are a big wild card, but I don't see the Padres as a playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, Mike Reed got it. Moyer, Michael just behind him. Just
Wow,
missed.
that was
Alan
close.
Curtis, that was really close. But yeah, I don't either. I think the NL West is the Dodgers, and I don't think a second team comes out of the NL West.
No, I mean I could see maybe San Francisco squeaking in, but I don't think the Padres have the juice. I don't think the Diamondbacks have the juice. And the Rockies are probably close, but I'm going to say they're probably not quite there yet.
Almost, not
yeah,
quite.
almost. I mean, they're just like one move away.
Yep.
From irrelevancy, but yeah, I think the Padres, they've got too many holes.
Yeah, agree. But they did sign Nicholas Castellanos.
Perfect.
Nothing will go wrong here, right?
I mean, can you imagine adding this guy into to the rest of the clown posse they've got there? I think Castellanos probably has a pretty good season for them because he's not going to be expected to do a lot. He's probably going to hit 5th or 6th in that lineup. He's going to have guys on base. It's probably fine. And I don't think there's much pressure in San Diego. I don't think there's he's going to be hanging out with a bunch of guys who are going to take the attention off of him. He's going to be just another guy in the lineup. There's no real pressure in San Diego. The weather's beautiful. He probably has a good year because it doesn't really matter.
Screw it. They'll make it. That's what Curtis says. Yeah, Mike Reed. He's the perfect Padre. I mean, yeah, he fits right in. You go, yeah, this is what we're saying, Michael. They have enough toxicity in the clubhouse now. Maybe that's why he fits this. He fits the profile. Sorry, I can't even get through it. One move away. Who's the signing? Jesus.
I mean, I didn't say who they're going to sign. They're just one move away,
Oh my God. But I just like Castellanos and Machado will be smashing beers on the reg in the dugout. I mean, if there is a team that fits his personality, it's this one.
Yes. And this is the only place I think that he could actually fit in.
I was like, of course he's going here. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he?
It only makes sense, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
I mean, the only other place it would have made sense would be the Mets. Like that would have been another clubhouse that he would have fit right into, but that's probably it. I mean, everybody else, I'm sure, looked at this guy and went, "No, thank you." He offers us nothing defensively. He can't run. He's a average hitter. Cool.
Yeah.
And the nice thing for San Diego is he cost them $780,000, and the rest of the $20 million is coming from Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is the best comment section in baseball history. You ain't kidding. I just
California feeling Minnesota.
I mean, this one is just it's icing on the cake for me and my feelings about the Padres. It's just another ego type that you're gonna try to throw into that clubhouse and try to make things work. Well, will he have some bright moments? Sure. Is he gonna help the Padres? I'm gonna say no.
I mean, did AJ Preller even call Craig Stammen and just say, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to sign this guy. You cool with that?" Because if I'm Craig Stammen, who's a brand new manager, granted he's been with the organization, but he's a brand new manager, and you're handing him this roster, and you expect this guy not to want to tear his face off? I mean, can you imagine trying to manage that clubhouse? You got a guy who's coming in with the baggage. I mean, Castellanos came right out on the way out the door in Philadelphia and said, "Yeah, I screwed up. Like I fought with the coaches, I disrespected them, I drank in the dugout." Like, and then you sign him the day after. It's like, what on earth are we doing here? How does AJ Preller still have a job in San Diego?
Just need Trevor Bauer to tie the room together. John Templeton.
Could you imagine? I mean, they do need starting pitching. He might be a good signing. I can't imagine being a first-time manager and having that clubhouse.
And especially how Mike Schilt left. And pretty much said, he threw his hands up and he said, "Whoever's coming in after me, good effing luck."
Yeah, I don't want to. I wanted to coach, not babysit.
Yeah, I think he used the word principal. He's like, I
Yeah.
wanted to be a coach, not a principal. But same thing. I mean, wow.
Yeah, the island of
Crazy.
misfit toys here. I mean, this is wild. And honestly, the Padres might be must-see for the exact reason that Michael mentions. These guys might be blowing up at each other on the field. Who the hell knows what's gonna happen? I mean, this could be an absolutely epic implosion that we just need to ride along for.
Yeah. Yeah, Forrest Castellanos got pulled and just went back to the dugout, cracked a beer, and went back to the clubhouse, grabbed a beer, and cracked it on the bench. Apparently,
Yeah,
so
came back, sat on the bench, drank a beer. Well, I guess he
yeah.
didn't. I guess he didn't actually drink the beer. Somebody talked him out of it and took it out of his hands. But he came back with the intent of drinking a beer on the bench.
Wild, absolutely wild. So, whatever.
Yeah, as a Giants fan, I hope the dads are a disaster. I don't think hope is going to be necessary here. I think it's guaranteed.
I was just gonna say you don't have to hope for anything, Aaron. It is bad. It is not good.
I mean, this is going to be fun to watch because it's going to be. You could not put together a bigger group of problem children. Yeah, exactly. John, are Milton Bradley and Carl Everett available? I mean, yes.
First and third base coaches right there. Bring them in.
Well, and did you see the comment from Jackson Merrill when they asked him about Castellanos and the admission that he drank? And Jackson Merrill's response was, "I don't care." They're like,
I mean,
well, this is going to be your new teammate. Yeah, I don't care. Okay, cool. Moving on.
I mean, what is he gonna say there?
I don't know. I mean,
you're trying to drive more of a divide in that clubhouse by having Jackson Merrill say something. Like, I probably would have said that too. I would have just been like, I don't care if he drank. I don't care if he didn't. I don't care if he smashed a beer on his forehead. Like, I just, like I don't. I'm with Jackson Merrill. Like, I don't care either way. Like, it doesn't affect me. Crazy.
Yeah, now we want to bring Papelbon and Rocker out of retirement. We want to go get Forrest. Yasiel Puig is up to prison right now. He's just waiting for sentencing.
Yep. Wild.
But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Castellanos probably has a fine season. I still think that team is garbage.
I'm with you.
But it is the most Padres move of all time. And AJ Preller, if I'm him, with the potential ownership change coming, if this team sells, I am dusting off my resume because he has done nothing but screw that organization.
It's brutal. All right. So like I mentioned, I have worked really hard on this. I hope there's a couple a series coming out on YouTube as well, for all you YouTube folks. I put together the greatest what ifs Hall of Fame potential for each MLB team. And some of them are obvious. Some of them I tried to think outside of the box a little bit, and not go with the ones that everybody talks about all the time. So I want you guys to chime in here, and here we go. So first one, I think we always talk about this one. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Boston Red Sox is Tony Conigliaro. Sorry. 104 home runs in his first 3.5 seasons before getting hit in the eye in the pitch, 1967. He was an all-star that year and then got hit. Decided to retire at age 26. Tried to make the comeback, just never the same. This was going to be Boston's next legend. Would he have made the Hall of Fame if he had a full career?
I mean, I tend to believe yes. I tend to believe Conigliaro was on a trajectory to be at least the greatest shortstop in franchise history, if not, one of the better shortstop of his entire era. I mean, 104 home runs in 3.5 seasons back in the 60s. I mean, that's out of the shortstop position. Nobody was doing that.
No.
He was a unicorn for that era of baseball and at that position. And if not for that one pitch, the one pitch that changed everything, I think this is a guy that we are talking about as at least the greatest shortstop in franchise history, if not one of the greatest of his era.
If not all time.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's in that conversation.
Yeah. The talent was undeniable. And the balls he hit out of the ballpark were not cheapies. These were tanks.
He was not a big dude either, but he had some serious pop.
Yes, he did. So,
and he could do it all. Like, he was a good fielder. He had a good arm. He had speed. He also hit for an average. It wasn't just he wasn't a one-dimensional guy, but he, he was the next big thing.
yep. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the New York Yankees. Mark Teixeira. 409 career home runs, 268 batting average, 1,862 hits, 3-time All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves, 3-time Silver Slugger. It goes on and on and on. 2012 to 2016, he missed 344 games with a calf, a wrist, a hamstring, another wrist, and a knee. Would Mark Teixeira make the Hall of Fame with a full career?
I tend to say with Teixeira, he's probably still short. I think you're looking at a guy who's, probably got 2,100, 2,200 hits. He's probably at 460 home runs. He's probably still short, but he's close. And for a stretch there, Teixeira was one of, if not potentially the best first baseman in the game. He was a nightmare to face. Right-handed, left-handed, didn't matter. He was a nightmare. So I think he's in the Hall of Fame? No, but I think he's a lot closer. And at least the guy you kind of scratch your head and go, maybe.
Yeah, I was leaning more towards yes when I first did this. Because he was one of the best first basemen ever. Well, not ever, but in this era. I was leaning towards that for sure. But after kind of reading some comments and hearing what you're saying, I'm like, I don't know if he gets to that 500 threshold. Does he get to 450 in does he get 50 more home runs in 344 games? Maybe. But a lot of those games he was playing hurt as well. Like he was battling through stuff. So just tough. But I think with you, I think he would be ultimate borderline if he did get in. But I think Holla very, very good. Curtis is kind of with us. The injuries derailed everything. Holla very good though, if he wasn't.
And this is a great comparison for Mike. I do think that he kind of falls in that category with Delgado. Like he would end up in that range with Delgado, where it's like he was really, really good, but just not quite good enough. And John Carter brings up a good point. Mattingly could be another guy you could play this game with for the Yankees because similar boat, career cut short.
Mm-hmm. And Mattingly's always talked about. That's why I kind of left him off this one, and I wanted to go with somebody a little bit different. And Mark Teixeira kind of popped into my head. Aaron, hang on to that thought, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential. This one's a little bit different. Evan Longoria, 264 career average, 1,930 hits, 342 career homers, 1,150 RBIs. Now, if Longoria stayed as a Ray his entire career, do his numbers inflate enough to make him the first Hall of Famer wearing a Rays cap?
For Longoria, I still think the answer is no. I don't think he's going to hit any of those milestones. I don't think he'd have the hits. I don't think he'd have the home runs. The RBIs would be definitely higher, so that would be one to consider. But I don't think you get quite enough from Longoria in any scenario, in any case, to get him there.
Yeah, the only way I could actually maybe argue this is if he is a career Tampa Bay Ray. Now, third base is hard to get into the Hall of Fame. You have some third base studs, right, that are in. Brooks Robinson, Mike Schmidt. I mean, the list goes on and on. You got to be 500 homers. You got to be 1,500 RBIs. You got to be 3,000 hits or close to it. Longoria doesn't quite get there, so I think ultimately, yes, short. But with him being the first representation of the Rays in the Hall, wearing a Rays cap, would that help with the voters?
I mean, I think he'd definitely have a better case. I think for sure. I think his case would improve. I just don't know that he gets to the level where it's like, yeah, he belongs in the Hall of Fame, but he's got a far more compelling case, no doubt.
Yeah, agree. All right. John Olerud, greatest what if Hall of Fame potential. 295 career average, 2,239 career hits, almost a 400 OBP, 58.1 career WAR, 1,230 RBIs. Now, my question is, if Olerud got his 400 batting average season in 93, would that have gotten him into the Hall?
Boy, John Olerud, as it stands right now, is like one of those borderline very good Hall of Fame guys. I mean, his 398 OBP is absurd. Guy scored over 1,100 runs, drove in over 1,200. 255 home runs, 295 batting average. Like, I think if he gets the 400 season, I think you're having a different conversation about John Olerud. This guy did everything. I mean, he's a 2-time All-Star. He won 2 rings. He won a batting title, 3 Gold Gloves. Like, yeah, I think you're having a much different conversation around Olerud if he owns a 400 season completely.
Yeah, I'm with you. Silic says I look at Olerud the same as Mark Grace. Yeah, at this moment right now. But what if he did hit the 400 season? I'm with Forrest. I think a guy who hits 400 even for one season should get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, 400 batting average is obscene. So, and Steve says Olerud is in for me, 25th in Jaws. Okay. Yeah, he should have pitched in the MLB also. Then he would have. Could have been a 2A player. Yeah, I think a 400 average does put Olerud over the hump here for me.
Yeah, I loved Olerud. Everything about his game I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Just the consistency, the calmness, everything looked easy. Everything just looked easy for him.
Yep.
And the numbers were always there.
Yeah.
So to me, he's a guy that like was always a borderline for me. But yeah, 400 season, done. Stamp it. Put him in.
Yep. Agree. What if Brian Roberts did not get injured? 276 career average, 1,527 hits, 5 seasons of 40 or more doubles. 3 of those were 50 or more. From 2010 to 2014, he missed 527 games out of a possible 810. A knee, concussion, hamstring, and then a hip surgery that finally does him in. Would Brian Roberts get more Hall of Fame consideration if he was healthy for that 810 game stretch?
Ooh. No, I don't think Brian Roberts is a Hall of Famer, but I do think he's a guy that would have a much different legacy left behind. I mean, he's a guy you kind of forget. He was unbelievable for a stretch of time. He had what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like seven seasons in a row in Baltimore where he was one of the best second basemen in the game, and then just disappeared due to injury. I don't think it would have been enough to get him in the Hall of Fame being healthy, but he absolutely would have. He would be an Oriole that would be remembered well into the future. A guy that would be talked about for a long time.
See, I am, yes, he's in the Hall of Fame because he would have been the best second baseman of that era. No doubt, especially at the plate. I mean, cranking out doubles left and right like it's his job. I mean, 5 out of those 7 seasons, he hit 40 or more doubles. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, stop. The other guy I thought about here a lot is Nick Markakis, which we all love, but we talk about Markakis a lot. But this one was Brian Roberts had the potential to be the best second baseman of this era of his time and just got robbed with injuries. So I think personally, you give him, what's that, another 8 seasons ish? Well, 6.5 seasons probably.
Well, so 527, that's a little over 3 seasons.
Okay, you give him 50 more doubles, another 150 to 200 doubles in there. I mean, we're looking at some serious production.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I think he'd have. I mean, he's a guy who would have finished with probably about 2,000 hits, and I mean, he'd be at probably 500 doubles. Yeah, I mean, he would have. He'd be a guy that would probably be at like 350 steals. I think those are
Mhm.
all great numbers. I just don't think any of them would be enough to get him in.
And that's fair. That's fair.
But I think he's a guy you look back on and be like, wow, that guy was really good. Like
Yeah.
he is Hall of Very good.
Okay. Fair. John says it's a no for me on Roberts. If the average was 300, then maybe. Right. Well, I mean, if his average is 300, then the hits, automatically would go up too. So I mean, that's fair. That's fair. For me, it's just if he hit that 500 double milestone, I mean, that's pretty unheard of for anybody really. Not to mention a second baseman.
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
but all right. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential, Grady Sizemore. 1,098 career hits, 150 career home runs. 2005 to 2008 only missed 9 games totaled. 289 batting average in 05, 290 in 06. And then here we go. We missed 715 out of a possible 1134 games from 09 to 15. Is Grady Sizemore the greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Cleveland Indians?
Yep. That guy he was going to be on the Mount Rushmore of Cleveland Indians, and it wasn't even close. I mean, this guy he was getting MVP consideration for the first 4 years of his career. He was playing every day, putting up stupid numbers, stolen bases. He had power. I mean, he and Jacoby Ellsbury were that kind of player that they could do everything, and then their bodies just quit on them.
Mm-hmm.
But he absolutely, to me, Grady Sizemore was going to be on the Mount Rushmore of Cleveland Indians until his body did him wrong. And honestly, aside from all the games he missed, he was out of baseball by 32.
Yeah.
On top of the fact he missed all those games, he retired at 32.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who got robbed of probably at least, 715. You're talking probably almost 5 years with the baseball plus the years. He probably lost 7 or 8 years of his career.
Easy.
He absolutely would have been on the Mount Rushmore of the Indians, no doubt.
Yep. Curtis says the promise. That's what I called him. Captain says he was special. He really was. Yeah. Would definitely be some serious discussions. Would love to see what the final numbers would have been. That's from Mike Reed. Great. Yeah, and Silix, he was going to be a superstar, 1,000%. And then the other guy I thought about was the guy that succeeded him in Michael Brantley.
Oh, yeah.
Another guy that got hurt quite a bit. And then the Indians finally were just like, you know what? Go to the Astros, do what you want. But I mean, it's Grady Sizemore here. No question about it. I definitely serious consideration here. I'm with Steve. If he held the standards and he had from 05 to 08 for another 6-7 years, he would have been up there. He was a cheat code in MVP 05. Yes, he was. For sure.
I thought he was Christian Yelich, but better. That's a good comparison.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he could do it all.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that was an absolute nightmare when you had to face him.
Yeah. All right. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential, Mark Fidrich, the Bird. 1976, 19-9 win-loss record, 2.34 ERA, 24 complete games in 29 games started. 1977, tore cartilage in his knee during spring training. We all know that story. He tore his rotator cuff and it kind of went undiagnosed. They didn't even know he kind of tore it, and then retired after 5 seasons. Now, is he the greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Tigers? Maybe, but it's really hard because it's 1 year, right? So what are your thoughts on Mark Fidrich?
I mean, I'm with you. It's such a small sample set. But I mean, in 76, he was lights out. In 77, he only made 11 starts, but he was 6-4 with a 2.89. In 78, he made 3 starts. He was 2-0 with a 2.45. So, I mean, his first 43 career starts, he won 25 of them. with an ERA of like 2.5.
Yeah.
It's hard to think that he wouldn't have been an absolute nightmare for the league for 5, 7, 10 years easily. But it's just such a small sample set; it's hard to tell. But I tend to believe that I think we got robbed of seeing a guy who could have easily been a Hall of Famer so early in his career. And the worst part about it was the undiagnosed issue. I mean, the dude pitched broken for years and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out why the velocity was gone. Couldn't figure out why he couldn't get anything done the way he wanted it to get done. It's because he had a friggin' torn rotator cuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Crazy.
not sure how he pitched. Like, how did he get the ball out of his hand?
Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy. Steve says, loved watching the Bird in 76, but there was no way he was going to make the Hall of Fame. I agree with Bill James because his K rate was so low. Yeah, I mean, he's a tough one, right? His K rate wasn't there in one really, really stinking good season. Like, can you judge a full career on that? I don't know. It's tough. But
I mean,
it's the Hall of Fame. Fame is the key word here.
Yeah.
And his antics on the mound are well known across baseball history, which makes the Bird part of this whole lore, right? If this is just some other average Joe having this season, he's not even considered for this list. But because of who Mark Fidrych was when he was on the mound, makes it infamous, right? So is that part of the Hall of Fame piece? I mean, you could argue that.
I think the hard part with Fidrych is that he kind of broke the mold. Here's a guy who threw 250 innings in 76, only K'd 97 guys, only walked 53, only gave up 12 home runs.
Yeah.
Only gave up 217 hits. Like he got a lot of soft contact. And the irony of that is the Tigers defense of that era was one of the worst in baseball. And yet he still got productive outs by letting him put the ball in play. That's like saying that Framber Valdez isn't an effective pitcher because he gets a lot of ground balls, doesn't get a lot of Ks.
Right.
I think the game back then was you throw strikes, you get guys out. And he did that better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
In 76, and really for the other starts he made the 2 years after that, he just got a lot of weak contact right at guys.
Yep.
I do think that this is a guy that would have been very good for a while. Would he have been a Hall of Famer? I have no idea. But based on what you saw in that small sample set, I think he had the stuff and the command for sure to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Got to have a hot career, not a hot year. I mean, agree.
Fair.
Joseph said Fidrych would have benefited from having Trammell and Whitaker behind him. Imagine that. Crazy.
Yeah, the Tigers defense was terrible in the years that he was there. They were just not good.
Yeah, and he was good for the pitch clock too, Curtis. You're right. Right? Pitch quick. Yeah, he got the ball, got right back on the mound, ready to go. He was
mess around. He threw strikes, he got guys out. So that was that works. That math works.
Yeah, I agree. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential, Maglio Ordonez. 309 career average, 294 career home runs, 2,156 hits, 1,236 RBIs, almost a 40 career WAR. And here's where the injuries go. 2004 missed 110 games with a knee, 2005 80 games with a hernia, 2010 78 games with an ankle fracture, 2011 refractured the ankle. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a stretch to do it for the White Sox because these injuries happened when he was in Detroit. But he did a lot of damage for the White Sox, but the injuries came when he was with Detroit. So it's a little bit of a stretch to have him here with Chicago, but not really in my eyes. So is Maglio Ordonez a Hall of Famer if he's healthy those last few years?
I'm going to say probably not. I loved Maglio, and it hurts me to say no, but I don't think he would have had anything that got him there. I think if he's healthy, he's probably at 2,500 career hits. He's got a couple hundred more RBIs. He's got another 50 home runs. I just don't know that 350 and 1,500 get you in. It certainly is a conversation to have at that point. but I just don't know that he gets there. And I loved him. Like, I loved watching this guy hit, but I just don't think it's enough.
Same. I'm with you. I don't quite think it's enough. I mean, 309 career average is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, he probably racks up another 150 to 200 hits, so it puts him at 2,300 hits. Maybe to 1,300 RBI. So I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you and everybody in the chat. It's like the Hall of Very Good for sure, in the Jermaine Dye category. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison. Jermaine
Yeah.
Dye.
Yeah. No, but would take
still
him on my team any day.
100% agree. Like, loved this
Mhm.
guy. Would take him in a heartbeat, but yeah, I just don't think he quite gets there. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Moises
Like,
Alou, that's another good comp.
yep. And then like when Griffey went back home to Cincy, he was never the same after he signed with the Tigers. Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, it's hard because like in 2007, he was a runner up in the MVP. He had that monster season for them, and then was just never right again. Like, he got over the ankle stuff, had a monster season, then went right back into it,
Yep.
and just could not break. That was the year 363. I mean, he could not get out of that cycle and stay healthy.
Yep.
And the other hard part too is that with Maglio, it's not even the games he missed, but like, what percentage was he playing at for most of that? Like,
Right.
he may have been on the field, but like, was he at 75%, 80%, 50%? Like, it's hard to tell like how affected he was by it, even when he was on the field.
And you're trying to hit in that canyon
Well, yeah, that's
when you go to Detroit. So
I mean, it's hard because like Maglio in Detroit didn't end great there. You know, Miguel Cabrera didn't end great there. That's a tough place for a slugger
yeah.
to go. And Ordonez was better suited for that because he was a line drive hitter. He had
Right.
a bazillion doubles.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely zapped his power.
Yeah. Curtis says love Maggie, but he was not on my all-time White Sox team. Again, that's another team with massive history.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to plug him in. I would agree.
There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Twins, Johan Santana. 139.78 win-loss record, 2,025 innings pitched, 1,988 Ks, 1.1 whip. And here come the awards. 2-time Cy Young, Triple Crown, 4-time All-Star, 3-time ERA title. And then here are the injuries. 2010, first surgery, torn shoulder capsule. 2013, second surgery, retorn shoulder capsule. 2014, torn Achilles tendon, and we're out. Is Johan Santana a Hall of Famer if the injuries didn't occur?
Yep, and there's no doubt in my mind. He was one of the greatest pitchers I've ever gotten the chance to watch. He's out of baseball completely at 33. He got robbed of like easily 5 or 6 years of his career. This is the guy who was in the top 10 of the Cy Young voting for 6 years in a row. Yes, he was absolutely a surefire Hall of Famer until his body gave out. And there's nothing for me to debate here. It's a slam dunk.
The only debate I have is whose changeup was better, him or Pedro's. I mean,
Johans, I still think he might have the best changeup I've ever seen.
I mean, coming out of a lefty too, like gross.
Dude, it fooled me on TV watching it. Like, grossest change I've ever seen.
I swung early and I wasn't even holding a bat. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a no doubt for me too. Just absolutely insane. And everybody's with us in the chat. 100% Hall of Famer, might be the biggest what if pitcher in MLB history.
Yep.
I have him as a Hall of Famer now. Yeah.
Michael, there's more doubt in my mind more doubt in Harrison's mind than there's in my mind.
That's funny.
Yeah. There's nothing to debate here.
Yeah. I mean, agree. And he was even better than what Lincecum did. And Lincecum was pretty ridiculous too.
I mean, I would literally watch Baseball Tonight and all the highlights just to see what he did. Like, he was one of those guys you like, okay, what did he do today? He's starting. I want to see the highlights of that game.
Yep. And Johan was nasty.
Disgusting. And, might be, again, one of the greatest pitchers I've gotten the opportunity to see in my life.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm with you. So, yes, Hall of Famer for us.
No doubt.
Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Royals, Bo Jackson. 1986, 1991, and then 93 and 94. 141 career homers, 598 career hits, All-Star game in 89. Then the dislocated hip in 1991, needed the replacement surgery. He injured it in the NFL. Would he have made the Hall with a full career in the MLB? Now, let's take football completely out of it. Would he have made the Hall of Fame just playing baseball his entire career?
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say no. And my whole thing with Bo is he was an unbelievably inconsistent player with a ton of swing and miss in his game. So many strikeouts. If this guy played a full season, he would be on that list with James Wood and Mark Reynolds for all-time strikeouts in a season. This guy whiffed at everything. But he was a defensive freak with speed and a cannon for an arm. He would have been a hell of a lot of fun to watch. But I think that he would have not been a Hall of Famer.
So I'm going to kind of go back on my own thing here. If he is just a baseball player, I'm with you. I think he's a little bit short. Now, you add football back in, now he's probably a Hall of Famer, right? Because now you have those stats and the fact that he's a dual sport athlete. Yes, right. I think football almost adds value to the fact that he could be a baseball Hall of Famer, if that makes any sense at all. It might not, but it could. So if he's just baseball, no. If he stays with both baseball and football and puts up those stats, I think yes. If that makes any sense at all.
No, I think the two sport piece is a huge deal to his story. And I agree with Silix. He might be the best athlete I've ever seen in my life. Period. There's nobody that had better physical skills than Bo. The dude just couldn't hit the ball. And I don't think being a full-time baseball player changes that. I mean, this dude was consistently 150 to 170 strikeouts, and he played 3/4 of the season. He was a strikeout machine, but he also did everything else. I think the strikeouts would have held him back. It's going to be hard to get into the Hall of Fame when you're hitting 25 home runs a year with 170 plus strikeouts.
At that time where striking out was a taboo. You don't do it.
Yeah, he was playing in an era where guys were hitting. Like he was going to be compared to guys that were hitting 300 regularly, and he's a 250 career hitter.
Yeah.
309 OBP, not great. Slugged 474, also not great. I don't see him as a Hall of Famer, but I think he would have been a hell of a lot of fun to watch as a full-time baseball player.
Mm-hmm. John says, can seriously see him in Hall of Fame every sport he touched. Yeah, absolutely. Michael, this is a good point. If he's 100% baseball, maybe he fixes the holes he had. There's a possibility, and Forrest is with him. He could have learned.
I think the problem with Bo is just go watching at bat with Bo. He had one speed. He just had one speed. He's like Kyle Schwarber. You're getting my A swing, whether it's an 0-0 count or a 3-2 count. But that was Bo. That was how Bo played the game. He was 100% full throttle all the time.
Yep.
Now, could he have cut down on the Ks? Maybe. Was he going to walk more? Maybe. But I wouldn't count on him doing that. He was who he was.
Yeah.
But he was unbelievably fun to watch. I mean, running up walls, through walls, over walls.
It didn't matter.
Hosing guys on his back foot. Like the dude was a freak. He was an absolute physical freak show. I don't think he could have put up the stats to get in the Hall, but he would have been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Fair. Barely over 6 foot, ran a 4.3 40, bench 380, squatted 650, and at a 39-inch vertical. Just stupid. Bo was a full-time baseball player. He reported to the Raiders after baseball was over every year. He played football part-time. Okay, so fair. Bo dominated in curling too. Oh, man.
And there's a part of it too. Like if he wasn't playing football too, would he have trained differently? Is he so bulky? Like there's so many, like there's a whole branch of what ifs that come off of his story to how things might be different. But I mean, he was a freak athlete as a running back. He was the Tecmo Super Bowl cheat code.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm not a Raiders fan, but I would play as the Raiders just to be able to run the ball with him because you couldn't tackle him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He owned
Agree.
Tecmo Super Bowl on Nintendo.
For sure.
Bo dominated Tiddlywinks.
Yep.
He probably did.
Yep. All right, greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Astros, J.R. Richard. 107-71 win-loss record, 3.15 career ERA, 1,606 innings pitched, 1,493 Ks, 22 career WAR, 1979 third in the Cy Young voting, 2.7 ERA, 313 Ks, 19 complete games, and then in 1980 suffered a stroke that ultimately took him out. So the stroke was heartbreaking. This dude threw gas.
Yeah.
For that time period, no one could touch this dude. Would he have made the Hall of Fame with a full career?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say no, because the first 5 years of his career, he kind of wasted trying to figure out how to pitch. And then he really started to click when he was 26. And then he had a 5-year stretch where he was dominant, and then he was out of baseball. I think if he had figured it out sooner, it's a different story. But I don't think he would have gotten to where he needed to get to with the time he would have had left.
I think that's fair. He's borderline for me. It's such a heartbreaking story.
It's
It
sad.
really is. Dude was at the top of his game, getting everybody in the world out, and then just, I think it was like he felt some pain in his neck and his arm all of a sudden after a pitch. And then it turned out to be a claw and all this stuff. Like, it was an absolute mess. Suffered the stroke. Yeah, I go back and forth on him. Chat says, Steve says Richard was on his way, would have had some serious consideration without the health issues. He says yes. Carl says Richard was the best power pitcher, not named Nolan Ryan at the time. Slam dunk Hall of Famer if healthy. So I'll go with the chat then. I'll cop out and go with the chat. I'll say yes.
Yeah,
and he was dominant.
And I would totally agree if he hadn't wasted the first 5 years of his career trying to learn how to pitch, because he was erratic.
Yeah. Yeah, and Carl agrees with you. To Harrison's point, Randy Johnson had no idea where the ball was going until 96 or 97. Right, but Randy also had the longevity to make up for that. That's the difference between these two careers.
Correct.
So
yeah, and who knows how long Richard would have lasted. He was out of baseball at 30. Would you have gotten 5 more years out of him? 7, 10, 12? I don't know how many years of that kind of dominance you would be able to maintain. It's a shame that he hadn't built up more going into it, because the first 5 years he were wasted.
Yeah. John Temple's got his magic 8-ball going, and he said most likely. So Curtis says if it wasn't for the stroke, Hall of Fame for sure. We'll disagree all day on that one.
I mean, Randy Johnson won 16 games, struck out 290 guys at age 40.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's not a lot of guys that can do that.
No, nuts. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Texas Rangers, Josh Hamilton. 290 career average, 1134 career hits, 200 career homers, 700 career RBIs, MVP in 2010, 5-time All-Star, batting title, 3-time Silver Slugger. And then here we go with the list of everything. 2009 ab strain, missed 73 games. 2010 fractured ribs, missed 29. 2014 thumb and shoulder, missed 73 games. 2015 shoulder again, plus some drug addiction issues, missed 112 games. 2016, he had his 3rd knee surgery, and then we're out. Does Josh Hamilton make the Hall of Fame with a full slate of games and not all of the injury and other issues off the field?
Yeah. So are we adding like the first 5 years of a career that he lost too?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, to me, Josh Hamilton was one of the purest baseball players that I may have watched. everything came easy to the guy. He could hit, he could throw, he could catch, he had power, he had personality. I think he was everything that you would have wanted in a baseball player in that time. He didn't get his start until 26 because he wasted 5 years with addiction issues, and then he was out of baseball at 34 because of injuries. And then obviously the addiction that came back. If you take the addiction out of both ends of his career, he's to me is a surefire Hall of Famer.
I'm with you. This dude was a beast, and after listening to Skeeter talk about him tonight,
yeah,
I was just like, all right, we just got some inside information about Josh Hamilton and the kind of player he was. The fact that Cecil Fielder wasn't the best, or the ball he's seen furthest hit, it was Josh Hamilton, and he was hopped up on drugs when he was with the Rays when Skeeter saw him is nuts. It's nuts.
This guy was drafted out of high school in 99, and he was like the LeBron James of baseball. Like he was the can't miss kid, the natural, the kid that will change the game. And he would have been. I mean, for what we saw at his peak, what we saw, if you had gotten that without all the problems, yeah, I think for sure he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm with you. For everything you just said. I'm with you. It is. This one's terrible. Oh God, Aaron, that's
Aaron.
bad. That's bad. Hamilton played the wrong game with white lines. Yeah. Ouch.
But that's what happens when you give a young kid a lot of money.
Yeah.
You get drafted first overall and hand the kid a big check, things go bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I played with a guy who's a 5th overall pick. Jeffrey Allison out of Peabody, Mass. Same road as Hamilton. Kid threw 98 at 16 years old. Got drafted first overall, handed a big check, life went straight to hell.
Yeah, man.
It's just what happens.
Yeah. Steve says Hamilton.
Good family.
Yeah. Steve says Hamilton's a tough one for me. I would say he would have some serious consideration if he had more good years in his career. Yeah. Yep. And John Temple, yeah, bad decisions caught up with him for sure.
Yeah,
tough one.
Sure did.
All right. Next two are kind of different, but kind of the same. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for Ken Griffey Jr. Now, listen, I know he's in the Hall of Fame already, so it's not really Hall of Fame potential, but could Ken Griffey Jr. been the GOAT if he did not miss all of the time towards the end of his career? Are we talking about Ken Griffey Jr. as the best player of all time without the injuries?
I'm going to say no, only because the next guy would be. But I think Ken Griffey Jr. is on the Mount Rushmore of baseball if he gets a fully healthy career. Because the hard part with Griffey is that it wasn't even the injuries, because in the time that he missed, he spent most of that 2007 to 2007 stretch on the field hurt, like playing at 75%. He was never healthy for like a 5 or 6 year stretch, and still played pretty well. But if you had a fully healthy Griffey, I think, yeah, he's one of those guys who's, top 5, top 10 all time, not up for debate.
Yeah, I think baseball's at a weird spot, right? Because I don't think it's going to be really hard to leapfrog Willie Mays in center field. It's going to be really hard for a center fielder to come into the game, win 10 gold gloves, and hit over 660 home runs. It's it's going to be tough. Griffey was going to be the guy to do that. And now we're not going to see that for a long time, right? The chances of that happening again are not great. So this was the chance, and he would have been the GOAT in my eyes if he was able to get over the Willie Mays home run threshold. Didn't quite get there, 30 home runs short, but we missed 453 games between 2000 and 2007.
Well, and I put him and Mays side by side because, I mean, I know Mays missed time. I know Griffey missed time. Griffey was also not healthy for a large chunk of that time, and he finished just behind Willie. Like, I look at Willie Mays and Ken Griffey Jr. as 1A and 1B in center field. I think they are very much hand in hand, lockstep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do too, but you could also argue that Willie Mays missed time for the war, so he might have been even further ahead of Griffey. So you got kind of two what ifs kind of there sitting at the same time. But
Well, that's why I said, Mays missed time, so did Griffey, but Griffey also wasn't healthy for large stretches. So I think in the end,
right,
they probably would have ended up at the same place.
wash out.
I
Yeah,
think they're very much the same player.
yeah. Carl says everyone who grew up in the '90s wanted to be Griffey. I say yes. He was so great when healthy. I think GOAT is definitely in play. Yeah, I'm with you. Not sure about the best of all time, but he would be up there with Mays, Aaron, Mantle. Yeah, and the wrist with the Mariners, 700 easy.
Yeah.
And John says, yeah, it was over once he tore his hammy in Cincy.
He was just
Yeah,
never the same guy, and he was never fully healthy for like the 5 or 6 year stretch.
yeah. If the
He
kid
was
stayed in,
hobbling around.
yeah, if the kid stayed in Seattle and was injury free, home run record would have been his flat out. I don't disagree. Yeah. This is a good point too. All those years playing on turf caught up to him. Could be a thing. Buhner, Boone lost 3 years in injuries, cost him a shot at 5 home runs, couple more Gold Gloves. But yeah, it's the best baseball swing of all time.
Yeah.
There's no denying that for sure.
Yeah. And Aaron, you're 100% right. Griffey was all over the East Bay mag. I had the gargoyle glasses. I had his white and those teal, like the Velcro across cleats. I was decked out in Griffey stuff as a kid. He was the guy.
Everybody had the Griffey cleats, like everything. Yeah, for sure. And Silix, Ted Williams is not a bad guy to have as your guy. I'm just throwing that out there. But
he's my all-time guy. Ted Williams to me is the GOAT.
Yep.
He wrote the book on hitting, literally.
Mm-hmm. All right. Greatest what if Hall of Fame potential. Now, this could go both ways because Mike Trout is still playing. Could he get into the Hall of Fame? Most likely, but could he have been the GOAT as well? We have a 294 career average. He's got 404 career homers, 1,000 RBIs, 1,700 hits, 406 OBPs. Crazy. 214 steals, 87.5 WAR, and we're not done playing. Rookie of the Year, 3-time MVP, 11-time All-Star, 2 as the MVP, 2 All-Star MVP, 9-time Silver Slugger, and then here come the injuries. 2017 thumb ligament, 47 games, 21 calf strain, 139 games, 2022 a back, missed 35 games, 2023 broken hand, missed 89 games, 2024 torn meniscus, missed 153 games. Would Mike Trout be the GOAT if he was injury free?
Yes. I rest my case. The guy had 9 straight seasons where he was top 5 in the MVP voting. He was absolutely he was on pace to be the GOAT. And it's there's no other player in history that was on a trajectory like that. By the time he was 27, he was at place no player had been. Came crashing down. But yes, to me, he was on pace to be the GOAT. He was going to be number 1. And there is no doubt in my mind that was the greatest baseball player to ever walk the planet.
Yeah, I mean, John Waite, it's not Rendon. I'm done giving that guy airtime. That's pretty much why I chose him not to do that.
Yeah, pass.
Curtis, this is a great one. Without the injuries, he would have been modern day Mickey Mantle. I agree with that assessment fully. Yeah, I mean, greatest of all time might be a hard one for me because I don't know where his fall off would have started. Like, where does his peak start to round off and go back down? Because he's not just going to continue on that trajectory, even if he's injury free, right? At some point, he's going to have to come to the top of the mountain and start going down just because Father Time always wins. Carl says Trout's first 7-8 years are some of the greatest we've ever seen. Part of what hurts him in the GOAT conversation are injuries notwithstanding. is the lack of playoff appearances and playing for the Angels. They aren't marketed well. We have talked about that numerous times. One playoff series isn't a great look. It's just not. I know baseball is a individual team sport, but it's not a good look. But as the GOAT, I am kind of with Steve here. Trout's career ceiling without the injuries isn't as high as Griffey's career ceiling without his injuries. Close, but no cigar. I think him and Griffey would be similar trajectory, but that would be about it. I think Trout could reach to where Griffey is now, if that what makes sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you line up where they were at age 27, Trout wins. I mean, they were at the same. If you mark them at the same place, Trout wins. Yeah. And they both came up at 19. They both got thrown into full-time gigs. Trout was way better earlier than Griffey was. It's not close. The first 6 or 7 years of their career, Trout smokes Griffey in every category. Trout was so far ahead of everybody. So by the age of 27, he was basically ahead of everybody in baseball history for where he was trending in every category. Like, he was running away with best player ever until he couldn't get on the field anymore. Okay. And I do think that the playoff appearance thing isn't an issue if he doesn't miss most of the next 5 years, when they also had Ohtani. And because the two of them were not on the field together a lot. That's the sad part of the thing, is that you didn't get to see Ohtani, Trout, and Rendon on the field together at the same time for more than like 50 or 60 games. Like, you just never got to see it.
Yeah. Agree.
I just Trout was so far ahead and above, better than anybody had been to that point in a career.
Okay.
And
I can get.
And his credentials even now are unbelievable.
I mean, they are. They're pretty silly.
I mean, 3 MVPs, 11 All-Stars, 2 All-Star MVPs, an overall Defensive Player of the Year, a Player of the Year, 9 Silver Sluggers, a Rookie of the Year, 9 seasons of top 5 MVP finish.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It's obscene. It's absolutely obscene where he was.
Yeah. And 88 career WAR with all those injuries is mind-boggling too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got more WAR at age. He's got more WAR at, what is he? He's at age 33 with hobbling around than Griffey had in his whole career.
Yeah.
And he's still gonna keep playing, obviously at a reduced threshold. But I think that he would have been greatest player ever, no doubt.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I'm with it.
It is such a shame to see a guy like that cut down as quickly as he was.
Yeah.
And then also, like, what are you going to get out of him now going forward? Like, as the back issues continue to linger, like, what do you actually get out of him?
Yeah, we don't know. Huge question mark for sure.
Sucks.
All right, greatest what if Hall of Fame potential for the Athletics, Eric Chavez. 1,477 career hits, 260 career homers, 902 career RBIs, 6-time Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger, 2007 to 2014, played in only 449 of a possible 1,296, missed 847 games, back, shoulder, herniated disc, foot, abdominal injuries, cut career, and playing time short. Would Eric Chavez be in the Hall of Fame with a full career?
I mean, I love Chavez. We've talked about him on the show when he came up a couple weeks ago. Like, I used to watch this guy's. I just used to watch him play defense to like learn from him as a third baseman.
Yep.
He was unbelievable. Footwork, reaction, arm, everything. I think he's a guy that if he's healthy, I think he is absolutely getting Hall of Fame votes. Does he make it? I don't know. I'd like to believe he does, because he's one of the greatest defensive third basemen of all time. And with all that time back, his offensive resume is going to look a whole lot better. You give this guy back like 5 seasons, and you're looking at a guy who's got probably 2,200 hits, 2,300 hits. He's going to have probably 350 home runs. He's going to have 1,200 to 1,300 RBIs, plus the crazy defensive accolades, I think he's probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, this one's hard for me too. Like for everything you said, like we've talked about how we have studied him, like you said. You give him back those 847 games, that's another 6 Gold Gloves he's winning. So now you're looking at a 12-time Gold Glove winner. You're looking at, like you said, a guy that hits 300 career home runs. I look to him, starting to look at him like no one's Brooks Robinson, let's put it that way.
No.
But you're starting to look at him in that category. Brooks Robinson, Ozzie Smith, they are in the Hall of Fame for their defense, and that's it. They are not in for their offensive numbers at all. Not one bit. Let's be honest there. I think they could start looking at Eric Chavez like that because he was insane defensively. So for me, if he's up around the 11, 12, 13 Gold Glove mark, like there's a high possibility he's getting in just for defense alone. So I'm going to say yes, just on the defense part. Offensively, no. But as you can see, guys do get in for their defense. So
yep.
I think yes.
Yeah, I think he was incredible.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, we're kind of mixed here in the chat, kind of not. Very underrated player, but I'd say no with Chavez. Hall very good. As an A, he gets overshadowed by Henderson. I mean, different time period, but maybe a little bit. He was supposed to be the same as Chipper, but never did it to that level. And I think that's fair, Silix. I think when they get compared to when they compare them to other people in their era, it's tough to compare them, right? I mean, when you have Chipper Jones, he's the clear number one. Can you put Eric Chavez in the Hall of Fame when, Chipper Jones is the clear number one? I don't know if you can. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's a good point. But better defender, Chapman or Chavez?
I mean, in his prime, I'd take Chavez. I just think range-wise, it was unreal what he got to.
Yeah.
Chapman's also incredible. Arenado at his peak might be better than both of them. I mean, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I think for sure, I mean, you're looking at a guy in Chavez who probably has at least 10 Gold Gloves, a guy that probably has 350 home runs, 1,200 to 1,300 RBIs, 2,000 plus hits, and still one of the top 3 defensive third basemen of all time. It's hard not to put a guy like that in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're talking like we know how the Hall of Fame is going to vote year to year.
Oh, so yeah, exactly. Right. Somebody's not going to like him, and because of that.
Yeah. And Steve, this is fair. Chavez was never a top 10 MVP candidate in any season, even when he was healthy. So, I mean, sure. Yeah. I'm just saying, I think defense plays, and there's guys in the Hall for their defense. Maddox wasn't a great pitcher. He's just in there for his 18 Gold Gloves. Kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would, because I think someone said it, nailed it back here. Chipper got in. He doesn't live up to that level. They're about the same era. It's tough. So I don't know. But
I mean, it's fair. I mean, these are highly subjective.
Right.
I can't think of many third basemen in my life I've seen that are better than him. And in that era, there's very few that are better than him. Yeah, MVP. You also think about the era that he played in. I mean, that was peak steroid era, where MVP awards were going to guys with stupid, like, video game numbers. It's just it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we are going to save the NL for Thursday, since we're already at the 2-hour mark, fellas. So if you were able to follow that real quick, maybe you could get a preview. But yeah, Silix, I wasn't trying to hate on Maddox. I was just making a point about his defense. Yeah, he's in only for his defense's 18 gold gloves, but obviously not, obviously. But yeah. All right, Harrison, we have got some follow the path trivia to end it tonight.
We do. So I got a mixture of some newer, some older, some absolute slam dunk, some harder ones, or at least I think they're harder. We'll see how they go. There's a couple in here, Nick, that I'm not allowing you to answer because they're going to be so blatantly obvious.
Okay, sounds good.
But they're for the people on Facebook that complain that some of these are too hard.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's get started. First player tonight, Darryl Strawberry. Started his career with the Mets, then went to the Dodgers, then went here before finishing up with the Yankees. Where was the third stop? And I'll be honest, when I was putting this together, I did not realize there was a third stop for him. I thought third stop was the Yankees where he ended.
That's what I'm. I only picture him in those 3 uniforms.
There was a fourth uniform in there.
I don't know. Is it Giants?
It is the Giants.
Huh.
He was a member of the Giants.
All right then. I never would have gotten there. Oh, obviously Aaron would have got it. He was a Giants fan. Yeah. I never would have gotten that. John said Reds or Giants. So yeah, nice.
He was a member of the Giants. I do not recall that at all.
Nope. Nope. Not one bit. Got me there.
That one was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, John Smoltz. So John Smoltz started and spent almost his entire career in Atlanta. Then he went to Boston before he got traded here. Where was the last stop where he ended his career?
I definitely know this one for sure.
Yeah, I this one I had to rack my brain for a minute because I'm like, I remember I remember he went somewhere, but I could not think of where.
Yeah, you both got it. Mike Reed got it. It was the Cards. Carl got it. Yeah, Cardinals. Nice job. Cardinals is correct. Not the Mets. Flat cheese. Good guess, but Silix got it as well. The Cardinals.
He was not there long, but he was there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Cup of coffee.
Yep.
All right. Vladimir Guerrero started his career in Montreal before he moved on to the Angels. Then he went to the Rangers before finishing up his career where? Where was the last stop?
I got it. Because when I met this guy, he was on this team. It's the only way I remember it.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really meet him. I walked by him and I go, that is a massive human being. Yeah.
Yeah, he was large.
Yeah, not tiny. But yes, Carl, it was indeed the Birds. The Orioles is correct. Baltimore, nice job.
Yeah, it was the Orioles.
Sorry. Wow, God. That was a big yawn. My bad. Yeah, Orioles for sure.
Yep. It was the Orioles. He was actually pretty good out there. He was actually pretty good with Baltimore.
Yeah, he hit 5 base hits off the dirt. I mean, typical Guerrero.
Yeah, he loved those pitches that bounce first. Should have been a cricket player based on the way he made contact.
Yep. Crazy.
All right. Next up, spent a lot of time talking with this guy tonight. Ken Griffey Jr. started his career in Seattle before he went to Cincinnati. Then he went here before finishing up his career in Seattle. Where was the third stop? And I honestly just don't really. I remember it, but I don't remember it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I know he was there, but I don't recall anything going on with him here.
Well, again, we missed a lot of time. That's why. I mean,
and his numbers weren't bad there. He just
no.
It's one of those things. At that point, he was broken down and not paying a lot of attention.
Yep. Nice. You guys all got it. White Sox, or as the Tigers fans say, the Pale Hose.
Pale Hose.
Yeah, good. The White Sox is correct. Nice. All right. Next one.
You cannot answer this one, Nick. Adrian Beltre started his career in LA with the Dodgers, then went to Seattle, then went here before finishing up in Texas. Where was the third stop?
I don't have the slightest idea.
We've mentioned this on
No.
the show like 50 million times lately. But I saw this one come up in one of those Facebook groups, and the amount of people that actually got that wrong, like weren't sure, like didn't remember him stopping here. I'm like, really?
Well, I mean, that's
He's
easy
an
for
all-star here.
he was unbelievable, but like he was Alex Bregman. Like when Alex Bregman's career is over, are we going to remember him as a Boston Red Sox? No,
No.
because he also missed half the season. But like,
Right.
if you don't follow the Boston Red Sox, you wouldn't even know Beltre was there for a year.
No, a lot of fans do not remember him making this stop in Boston. He was incredible in Boston, but a lot of fans just don't remember it.
We were ripped. They didn't re-sign him.
So mad.
Ripped. He would have destroyed Fenway Park.
Oh, for many years.
He did that season. God, man, it was just I would have given everything to keep him in a Red Sox uniform.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, you guys all got it. I'm not going to flash up all your comments. You guys all got it, Boston, for sure.
Completely rejuvenated his career and took off.
Yep.
But where would the world be if we didn't have Beltre and Elvis Andrus together?
Still in Boston. Get over the monster.
All right, moving on. All right, Sammy Sosa started his career in Texas before moving on to the Chicago White Sox, then to the Chicago Cubs, then here before finishing up with the Texas Rangers. Where was the fourth stop? Almost don't remember him as a Cub. I mean, my goodness, he didn't do anything there.
No. Yeah, I got this one too, so I'll give the chat a minute. Yep, you guys all got it. Definitely Baltimore for not long.
No, again, one of those like I remember it, but I don't really remember it. Like there's nothing about it I recall. But I know he stopped there.
Yep, for sure. Yep, Baltimore is correct. Yep. God, it's killing me.
God,
yep.
That is on fire tonight.
The Orioles for Sammy Sosa for sure. Nice job.
All right, Albert Pujols started his career with the Cardinals, then went to the Angels, then went here before finishing up with the Cardinals. Where was the third stop?
It took me a second because I only think of him in these two spots.
Yeah, you got it.
But yeah,
same for me. Like I looked at this going, like again, I remember he was there, but I don't really remember anything about it and he was pretty good there, and it wasn't like he was there for like a cup of coffee. He was there for a little bit.
Yeah,
there's nothing remarkable about it.
Yeah. Yep, just steady Albert, that's for sure. Yeah, you guys all got it. Dodgers for sure.
I still think of him as Cardinals Angels. That's it.
Yeah, that's it for me too. I think it's because those were like the big ticket signings, right? I mean, those were the ones. Cardinals, he made his name. The Angels, he signed that massive contract and yeah,
didn't. And I mean, imagine if he had played better and been healthier in LA, where his career would have ended up.
Yeah.
And he wasn't great in LA for a lot of that contract.
Someone said it back there is, Albert should be on the what if list too somewhere. Like, would he be the home run leader if he didn't? I mean, still 704 homers or 9 or whatever he got to 703 maybe. Still ridiculous, but God.
Oh, still obscene. But I mean, he was a shell of himself in LA.
Yeah.
That whole stretch was bad.
Oh, this is a pretty cool moment to see, John. I was at the game in Seattle when he got his 3,000th hit. That's cool. I I saw home run 694 when you or Sean were on the show and I was in Cincinnati.
That's right.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're trying to check in live.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was neat.
But yeah, the Dolges. Nice.
All right. Curt Schilling started his career in Baltimore, then went here. Then went to Philadelphia, then to Arizona before finishing up in Boston. Where was the second stop? That was my face.
I don't know. I always thought he came up with the Phillies. That's how bad I am. Astros, really?
The Astros.
Wow.
He spent his first three years in Baltimore, then 1 year in Houston, and then he was off to Philadelphia.
That is what I love about this show right here, that you guys knew that and taught me something tonight. I would have sat here all night. I never would have guessed the Astros there out of him.
Yep. He was in Houston in 91 pitching out of the bullpen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never would have gotten that. Did not know that. Curt Schilling is Phillies, Diamondbacks, Red Sox for me. That's
that's all that matters.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Never. He didn't become a starter until the year after when he joined Philadelphia. That was the first year they turned him into a starter.
That's right. I did know that part, but man.
Yep. But yeah, he was pitching out of the pen for the Stros.
Wow. Never would have gotten that.
And wasn't great.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. Ichiro started with the Mariners, moved on to the Yankees. Then he went here before returning and finishing off with the Mariners. Where was the third stop?
He was a pretty good pitcher here, a couple outings too.
He was. He could bring it.
Yeah, still can. He's like 57, can still bring it. It's crazy.
Yeah, fair point. I always found it surprising he ended up here because, and he was there for a couple of years. He was okay. Yeah. But like he went there because there really were no other options. He just wanted to keep playing, and that was like the only team that would take a chance on him.
Yep. Yeah, and it was like the orange Marlins, right? The orange and teal Marlins.
Oh, sorry, 3 seasons there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was basically a 0 WAR player over those 3 years, but he just kept playing.
Yeah. The Marlins are correct.
Yeah, that was Miami, the orange Marlins.
Silic says, my great uncle, who was a scout for the Cubs at the time, tried to get the Cubs to pull the trigger on Schilling from Baltimore for pretty much nothing. Wow. But yeah,
there was no real value in Schilling until he got to Philadelphia and became a starter. But first 4 years, he was just a bullpen arm that was just hanging on.
Yep.
Imagine he gets cut, doesn't get another gig. We never see Curt Schilling.
Right.
He was on the edge of not having a career.
Crazy. Yeah, you guys all got that. Marlins is correct. Carl said, I got to see Ichiro play for the Yankees at Wrigley for Jeter's farewell tour, sat in the bleachers, and the Cubs lost in 13 innings. Dang. Still pretty cool to be able to watch Ichiro play, though.
Incredible.
That's awesome.
Incredible. All right, last one for tonight. Greg Maddux started with the Cubs, then moved on to the Braves, then went back to the Cubs, then went to the Dodgers, then went here before returning to the Dodgers to finish his career. Where was the 5th stop? Yes, sir.
Yep. Back to the Cubs. Like, what's the pattern here? Cubs, Braves, Cubs, Dodgers, Cubs, Dodgers. Yep. Yeah. You guys.
It's funny. Like, I remember him playing for all these teams. I don't remember him making so many changes, but like he did. He kind of jumped around.
Yeah. Padres is absolutely correct. SDP Padres. The Pad Sox half right. It's an interesting one, but yeah, San Diego Padres for sure.
Yep. He was there for about a season, and he was actually pretty good there.
Yep, pretty dang awesome. That was awesome. All right. Well, what a show, man.
Whew.
Having Skeeter on the first hour or so, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you again for coming on and taking the time with us, Skeeter. It's like I said, always great to hear it from a guy that got to live the dream. And no matter what that looks like, you got a chance to play at the big league level. Pretty insane. Loved every second of that. And I'm sure you could tell stories for days and I would listen. But incredible. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely love that stuff. So we will do the rest of the what ifs on Thursday. I got another kind of fun segment I kind of want to do. So we'll see if we can put that in there too. But do you have anything else to add or before we head out for the evening?
That's it for tonight. It's getting a little late here on the East Coast.
Is it? I mean, it's 11:20. I mean, we've been on here till midnight before.
We've had some marathon shows.
We have for sure. So
The watch parties definitely go longer.
Yeah, Carl, you can go back and watch it for sure. He was incredible.
It was great.
Shared a lot of stuff. Really nice guy. I'm glad that he felt comfortable coming on. So pretty dang incredible. So again, thank you so much for you guys in the chat. You guys are the backbone of this show. I say it at the end of every show. You guys are the reason we do this. We appreciate all the support. It means a lot. So we will be back Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go over news. We'll go over the National League what ifs. And I got a little other segment planned for Thursday. So make sure you tune in for that. Until then, baseball's right around the corner. We are almost there. Next Sunday, we will have our prediction shows. We'll have some guests on as well to share their predictions from other baseball creators around the creator land, I guess.
The Creatorverse.
The Creatorverse. So that should be a fun show too, to kind of go through that as well. So pretty packed week for us over here at Rounding Third. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a good week. And we'll see you Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
See ya.